This video is going to explain backwards calendaring and how you can use a sample study schedule template to show a student how to manage their time in law school. This is very relevant for students who are 1Ls as well as students who are on academic probation. Usually, the first thing I do is I'll send them this blank study template so they can look at it and kind of just see, hey, it has all these hours by half an hour, and then it has these days that I need to eventually slot things in. But I found this blank schedule is actually difficult to talk through with them because they're unsure how to schedule their time, especially students who end up on academic probation or are performing poorly. So I send this blank schedule in advance, and then during the meeting, I pull up a schedule that's filled in as a sample. And so this first sample, I start with, hey, this is a student who decided to do all their reading on the weekend. There are usually two options, which is all your reading on the weekend or doing all your reading during the week. Of course, all means most of your reading on the weekend versus most of your reading during the week. And then I just show them this is what you have to do. The first thing you do is you need to put in when you're working. So this pretend student is working part time. But if you have a student that works full time, then you easily just block out all 5 days, right? Which then they'll naturally see, wow, a lot of time is lost. Maybe I need to really figure out what to do during these lunch breaks because that's the only time I have to do things, right? And so this is something you do with them while you're talking to them. But I always start with the part time so they can see how much time they should be devoting to things. After that, I say next you need to put in your classes, right? So you have classes in the evenings from Monday through Thursday and Fridays off, right? These are what we call the fixed appointments or fixed things that you cannot change, right? You have to do this all the time. They might have other fixed things where it's like, I need to take my kids to school, or I need to like take care of my mom, watch my friend, my dad, whatever, right? So then you add all those fixed things in, and then you tell them the next thing we need to think about is reading. And so this example is all the reading on the weekend. So ideally, you want to try to do your Monday and Tuesday reading on Saturday. Maybe if you don't finish your reading on Tuesday, your Tuesday reading on Saturday, you do more on Wednesday, and then you do your Thursday reading on Monday. But most of it is done during the week. I mean, during the weekend, right? So you account for the time for the weekend, and you also say, no, you need to have mental health, so have family time, take breaks, right? Have backup time where if you don't complete assignments, you can do other things, especially if you have homework or MBE quizzes or writing assignments, and then taking the breaks for dinner. But pretty much showing them you need to schedule everything um, by the hour so that you know exactly what you're doing. After you've put in the reading, the next big thing you want to look at is outlining, right? So here, if the student's not working, you can outline on Wednesdays. That can be your outlining day, and you want to choose the subject that you're outlining so you know exactly what you're doing and kind of get in a regular routine. You can also outline on Friday. Again, this is just an example. They have to fill it in to meet their own needs, but this is just a sample. And then you want to tell them, okay, well, now you need to be doing weekly essay practice and weekly multiple choice practice. And where do you want to put that? Well, we really, at this point, are only having space on Friday and Saturday. So maybe we do it in the morning. Or if you're a really early morning person, you can even do some of these at 7 or 5 a.m., right? It just depends on the student when they wake up. Or maybe they do it really late where they do all their practice from 11 till 12 a.m., right? You tell the student it's for them to figure out what they're going to do. So you have your weekly practice, you can have bonus practice. And then the other things I always tell them to put in are time for office hour appointments if you can meet with the professor. And then after class, you always should spend at least half an hour or so synthesizing your notes from class because that will make the outlining process easier. So again, this is a sample of a student who's doing all the reading on the weekend. To show them how things can differ, after I go through that, I go through, well, this is a sample of a student who does reading throughout the week. And so reading throughout the week, you could see, hey, they do all their practice and all their outlining over the weekend, and then they start some reading on Sunday. But most of their reading is done throughout the week, where they do it on Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday. And again, it depends on when they're working, if they're working. I also put in exercise time, family time. The synthesizing notes is the same. And then, of course, free time, backup time for other tasks, and time to complete assignments, right? And so you send this to them, they take a look at it, they digest it, they make their own version. And if they want, they can send it back to you, or they can just continue on their own. It depends on if the student's already on academic probation, then usually you want to see what they're doing. But if they're just a 1L in the first semester, it's kind of up to them to manage their own time and ask for help, unless you want to make this something that's required as an advisor for them to send back. That's really up to you. Again, if you have questions, let me know. This is a sample for part-time. If you have a full-time person who's working, they tend to lose a lot of time because they are working 5 days a week, which means they have to wake up earlier, or they need to do more during their lunch breaks or dinner breaks, or they have to sleep later. So that's where you'll see full-time people having schedules that go a little bit earlier or later.